Good evening, NBP faithful, and welcome to a very delayed but still very exciting NBP Show. As always, I'm your host, Coaches Board President, Dogmick, and I'm here to bring you still delayed, very exciting Week 3 news. I know it seems like it's quite some time ago, but the delay kind of messed my filming schedule up. So here we are. We're in Week 3. This was the last week of conference play, division play as well, before we go on to the interdivisional interconference play of Week 4. This would decide a lot of matchups heading into that. So we'll start in the AFC side of things with the Deep Dark, where the Crown Royals of Jim Sardonic, undefeated, take on a sinking ship coached by Bort by 18. This would be a knockdown dragout for first place of Deep Dark. A lot of people want that bragging rights there, and this game would be no different than that. With Bort having a win and a draw already going into this game, this was the matchup for first place. So, there would be a few deaths in this game, some very important ones, but a sinking ship would manage to pull out the victory 2-1 and put themselves in the running for Coach of the Week. Now, we move on to Villains of DC versus Joe's Imaginations. Deep Dark Division of veteran against a former Tar and Feather division coach in Joe's Imaginations. That is a Goblet team coached by KO Joe going up against the Chaos team, the Chaos Dwarf team of Blue Six Max. And it would be quite a devastation for Joe's Imaginations, who continue to be winless here this season as Blue Six Max and the Villains of DC take on a 2-0 victory. Now, to Saltworks, we have Terrible Ghouls versus the Zorn Ooze Cool Zealots. Terrible Ghouls, 1-0-1 here, going against the former two-time champion of Midway and the Zealots, and 1-0-1 as well. But the former champion would manage to outmaneuver the Undead Squad and take a 2-1 victory. That helped out Midway in the positioning there for sure, as Tons of Fun definitely falls to third place, it seems, in the matchups there. But now we have the reigning three-time champion Cannibal Corps and Demented taking on Johnny's Rottens, who were winless, coached by Johnny Mao, the owner of GFCL. Actually, the undefeated team against the winless team, they would meet in the middle as they both draw 1-1 here. But I believe Demented handedly had first place there. I think it was decided last week. But nonetheless, it was still a good matchup as Rottens managed to get points. They really needed two, but one is really helpful when you're winless. So, now to the final division. Tar and Feather, one of the closest divisions in the league. And this week would be no exception as the Kitchen Raiders take on Chaotic, and as they take on Chaotic, they would stop them at the end of the first half, and it looked like it was going to be a possible 1-0 victory for the Raiders instead, but coming into the second half, they would attempt a one-turn touchdown and fail with the ball going out of bounds in a very favorable bounce for the Chaos Squad, who would then control the ball the rest of the game and score 1-0 at the very end of the game. That would also put them in contention for Coach of the Week, as that was a high-caliber win because it put them to 3 points. Chaotic went up to 3 points. Who also had 3 points was the Kitchen Raiders. And so that locks things up for, possibly second, third place with the weird possibilities of SPP. So we go on to the matchup of first place in Saltworks, Tar and Feather, and that's Night of the Living Dread and Coach Shushnik taking on yours truly and Bawa. We have 2 draws so far going into this game, whereas Night of the Living Dread have a win and a loss. This would be quite an exciting game. The defense of Bawa would hold as strong as they possibly could, but it would not be enough to stop a Move Ghoul from scoring a touchdown at the end of the first half to take us to halftime. Then, coming out of halftime, Bawa receives the ball, and the defense for Night of the Living Dread would hold strong for as long as they could, and even disrupting the play on their final turn. But it was not enough to stop the pickup and pass to score that knotted it up and puts Bawa at 3 draws and 3 points against Night of the Living Dread's 1 draw, 1 win, and 1 loss. So the entire Tar and Feather division was at a 3 SPP difference. It was just everybody at 3 points. So it had to go to SPP. And after SPP totals fell, Night of the Living Dread took first place. But Bawa and Chaotic were actually tied all the way down the board. And in fact, the SPP was tied. But eventually, I believe coin flip, or just for the fact that Rebel actually has a win and Bawa is still winless, Rebel took second place there, where Bawa would take third and the Raiders would take fourth. So that gives us the AFC matchups. We had 2 nominees for, actually 3 nominees, kind of, for Coach of the Week in Chaotic Rebel Night. We have Villains of DC, a Blue 6 Max, and a 2-0 victory. And then we also have a Sinking Ship with their 2-1 win. But we are going to give the AFC Coach of the Week to a Sinking Ship, because that is the most monumental win on the AFC side of things, securing first place for Deep Dark. Villains of DC managing to get points, but it's against that Goblin team, and Chaotic as well able to get that win, but it just did not net first place. It wasn't as monumental of a win as a Sinking Ships game was. But we go on down to NFC, the other side of the pond, here in NBP. We'll just start it off with the Boys, coached by Blake Nuts 666 against Scumdogs of the Universe, Commissioner Kamikoze. The Boys is 1 win and 1 loss, whereas Scumdogs of the Universe is a draw and a loss. This would be quite a game. We have the leading passing team in the Boys taking on the control team in Nurgle. All that disturbing presence is going to really affect the play of passing. And it seemed to do that as they were not able to score in this game, but the Scumdogs were, and they take a 1-0 win, making their record 1-1-1. So, we go down to Warpfire Stones. 2-time finalist Rocky is back with a 2-0-1 record so far, taking on Booty Butt Pirates, coached by Predator 1460. And, man, I almost said Predator, like Booty Butt Pirates Predator. But I actually like it better because it's Booty Butt BB Pirates P Pirates P. So BBPP there with a 1-1-0 record going up against the finalists. This is a Chaos Dwarf squad, so we partially expected them to crush some rats, but that's not what happened, as Rocky is back, takes a 3-0 victory against the Pirates. They just could not formulate their offense there, as the rats run wild here in Ancient Empires, securing first place. So that would be, putting the Warpfire Stones in first, the Booty Butt Pirates in second, the Scumdogs in third, and yeah, the boys in fourth. So, down to Beheaded Kings, we have Dinosaurus Rex in a 1-1-0 record. That's Burzo 1985, former Proving Grounds champion on the NFC side of things, taking on Residential Goodness. 1-0-1 is their record. That's Afro Chef 82, a Blood Bowl veteran here, taking on an NBP veteran. I believe they're both Blood Bowl veterans actually here at this point. But that is Dinosaurus Rex and Residential Goodness going head-to-head for, potential first place of the division here. And Residential Goodness would manage to score 2 touchdowns to the Dinosaurus Rex's 1 touchdown and take the victory in that game. Now, replacement coach and team, Radamataz 0-1-1 taking on Scarface Scavengers V2 1-0-1. That is Cole 6 Max versus Legend T 969. The Scarface Scavengers were out for blood in this game, and they absolutely destroyed their competition in a 2-0 victory. This is what we expect to see when we see Skaven taking on Chaos Dwarfs. But we kind of got a little bit of the taste of both ends of that spectrum there as we saw one Rat team destroying a Chaos Dwarf team, and then we see a Chaos Dwarf team destroying a Skaven team. So balance is here in NBP as the Scavengers take that victory and push themselves up to first place. And I think the difference was SPP 201 record each between Legend T and Afro Chef, and I think Afro Chef lost the SPP battle there because Scarface Scavengers would take first place, Residential Goodness second, Burzo third, Radamataz in fourth. So, on to the Old World. The Old World division had Boom Shake the Room and Wheelie 365 undefeated 2-0 taking on Rainforest Queens, who were also undefeated, coached by Jonah 2005 UK. This was possibly the match of the week on paper going into the week, especially on the NFC side of things. This game was huge. 2 undefeated rivals going head-to-head in week 3 for first place in the division. And man, Boom Shake the Room would absolutely shake the trees of the Rainforest Queens as they take a 3-0 victory, dethroning the Queens here in the tie for first place, outright taking first place, going interdivisional, interconference play. But Jonah is still right behind in second place because Grim Ripping Institute, who are winless, coached by co-host Fantastic Dr. J, and the Fun Guys, who are also winless, coached by the Prime Sinister, still managed to both go winless here. They draw it up with a 0-0 matchup here. It's still a point each, but it doesn't really help the standings very much when you can't grab wins. Winless here in week 3, you're kind of floating out into space at this point. Still a lot of Blood Bowl left, but a lot of ground to hardly cover. That's like difficult terrain in D&D. You're going to have to take a move penalty trying to trudge through that. It was, I believe, Fantastic Dr. J took third, whereas the Prime Sinister took fourth. I believe that was how things shook out here. We can confirm that as we go on, though. Oh, no, I almost forgot. We have to do the nominations. So, one coach here was Rocky is back, and he's definitely nominated for NFC Coach of the Week. A 3-0 victory against the Booty Butt Pirates. Anytime a Skaven team comes out alive in a game against Chaos Dwarf, it's a great game for Rocky is back and the Skaven. So, then we go to Scarface Scavengers. B2 Legend T taking the 2-0 win against the Skaven squad. I've already spoke highly about them, so we'll just brush over that. And then we go down to the final game we mentioned there. Well, one of the final games as the animals play here. Boom Shake the Room and Wheelie 365 has the most quality win here this week as he defeats an undefeated Rainforest Queens to go up 3-0. And sorry if there's some outside noise here. We have some grounds crew down below. I don't know how loud that is on the camera. Hopefully it's not picking up and being an annoying drone in the background. So there you have it. AFC side of things, Coach of the Week is Bortbot18 in his 2-0 victory. And NFC is Wheelie 365 and his 3-0 victory. So we move on to week 4. Interdivisional, interconference matchups. That is Ancient Empires versus Tar and Feather, Beheaded Kings versus Deep Dark, and then Old World versus Saltworks. So I'll just start off with Ancient Empires versus Tar and Feather. 4th place is the Boys 1-0-2 taking on Kitchen Raiders 1-1-1. These games, most of these games have already been played, but I'm keeping the episodes divided. I was going to do a super show, but not all of the week 4 episodes are completed, or games are completed. So we're dividing it up today. You're getting this episode, and then next week you'll get the next episode, I suppose. But the Boys taking on Kitchen Raiders. Scumdogs of the Universe 1-1-1 taking on Bawa 0-3-0. Then Booty Butt Pirates is 1-1-1 taking on Chaotic, who are also 1-1-1. Then we finally have the first place game, Warp Firestones, 2-time finalists, taking on Night of the Living Dread, last year's Tar and Feather division champion, 1-1-1 as well. That was an amazing game, folks. If you haven't saw it yet, go check it out. It's already been played, but I'm not going to spoil those because I want to cover all the week 4 games on the same episode. And there's a handful of games there that hasn't been played. But also, if you haven't played your week 4 games, please do so. You don't have a lot of time left. Remember, Wednesday, end of the day, we're going to roll it over to week 5 transfer, or the bye week, the transfer week. Week 5 is after the bye week. But going down to Beheaded Kings versus Deep Dark matchups. We have 4th place, Radamataz 1-2. That's a draw and a loss. Taking on Joe's Imaginations with 3 losses. Dinosaurus Rex 1-1-1. Taking on Villains of DC, also 1-1-1. A great Bash matchup there. That's just Bash v. Bash. And man, check that one out too. That was a good game. Residential Goodness 2-0-1 taking on Crown Royals 2-0-1. This is a neat matchup. Undead versus High Elves. That has potential to be a shootout, folks. Look for a high score in that one. Then we have the first place game here. Scarface Scavengers V2 2-0-1 taking on a Sinking Ship 2-1-0. And that's the battle for first place there. Also next week, I'll give you a rundown on the AFC versus NFC aggregate score on who is the better side, better division / conference and such. Actually, I will do divisional matchups on who is the better division out of everybody, but also who is the better conference. Then we finally have Old World versus Saltworks. This was a great set of matchups here. A few of these have been played. Actually, I think most of these have been played, but once again, I won't spoil them. The first place game was the 1-draw, 2-loss Prime Sinister taking on the Johnny's Rottens, and Prime Sinister coaches the Fun Guys, the Goblin team, taking on the Nurgle team, who is a draw and 2 losses as well. A lot of the records matched up, it seemed, down the board. But then we have Grim Reaping Institute, 1 draw, 2 loss, taking on Terrible Ghouls, 1 win and 2 loss. Then we have the second place game, which was Rainforest Queens and Jonah taking on Zorn, Ooze Cool Zealots and Midway Monster. And that's Chaos Dwarf versus Amazon. So that's going to be quite the matchup, and a 2-0-1 shared record there for them. Both 2 wins and a loss. But then one of the matchups that we all really, really want to see is Boom Shake the Room, undefeated, taking on Cannibal Core. 2 wins and a draw here. That's first place, and I would argue that that's first place of the league. That matchup is a first place of the league there, between maybe a Sinking Ship and Legend T, but also Afro Chef and Crown Royals have a chance at that. So that is a big matchup there in this week. So many big matchups. These interdivisional, interconference games are so very important. People do not realize the importance of the wins and even the draws during this. These losses usually turn out to be huge, and I've seen them eliminate people from the playoffs before they even knew it. Last week rolled around, they grabbed a win, but then they look and seen they had 2 losses in interdivisional play, and that was it. Very, very important points on the line. A lot of you people have already gotten your points, and some of you've already missed out. But we will not spoil that on the show. Go check out the games if you haven't already. Get your transfers in. Also, if you get a really good transfer, let me know. Throw it in the comments or even message me. I'll try to get a transfer rundown on the next episode too, because I think transfers will have gone down at that time. So we can kind of cover something. And if not, I'll get them on the week 5 episode. But other than that, guys, if you like what you saw, hit the thumbs up. If you don't, hit the thumbs down. Comment in the comments below how I can make the show better. If you haven't already, subscribe. It really helps us out. And also to the NBP channel, if you haven't already, please subscribe there. Once we get 100 subscribers, we can change that awful number string to something a lot better for the link to the YouTube channel. It can just be NBP Pro or something fancy like that. So please, if you haven't already, subscribe there and to the Twitch and all that good news. We can just be one big symbiotic network of followers. As I've mentioned before, we can all follow each other and help each other out. So without further ado, thanks for watching, guys. You have a great day.